What if the Y chromosome disappears? Men vanish and the economy collapses. Imagine a world where men are gradually disappearing, where with each passing generation, the number of Y chromosomes is shrinking, and scientists are quietly calculating this alarming possibility for the future. This isn't a science fiction movie. It's a real scientific warning that has deeply concerned genetic researchers around the world. Studies suggest that the Y chromosome, which defines male identity and is the foundation of the male biological structure, has been weakening for millions of years. And now, it's reached such a critical stage that in the next 11 million years, it could vanish completely. Just imagine, if there are no men left, how will the world's social fabric, reproductive systems, and most importantly, the global economy function? Today, we'll dive deep into this topic. But before we begin, if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update on important and fascinating topics like this one. So, let's begin today's discussion without further delay. In the human body, the XY chromosome pair determines the male gender. But over time, the Y chromosome has lost almost all of its genes. Around 300 million years ago, it had 1438 genes, but today only 45 remain. Professor Jennifer M. Marshall-Graves from the Australian National University, renowned expert in genetics, has claimed that the end of the Y chromosome is near. If that happens, the first and most direct impact will be on the birth of males. But this leads to an even greater question. Can the global economy survive such a change? The current structure of the world economy heavily relies on men, not just significantly, but decisively. According to data from the International Labour Organization, ILO, nearly 70% of the global workforce is male. Whether it's heavy industries, tech companies, the construction sector, or finance, male presence dominates these fields. So, if the Y chromosome gradually disappears and the male population continues to decline, can women step in to fill that void? And will the economic balance remain intact? The OECD reports that in both developed and developing nations, men contribute about 60% to 75% of the GDP. This contribution isn't just based on numbers, but also on the productivity of sectors and infrastructure demands. For example, manufacturing, construction, energy, and technology are industries where male participation is disproportionately high, and these are directly tied to a country's economic strength. On the other hand, women's involvement is still largely centered around health, education, and social sectors, which are considered to have relatively lower economic output. Now just imagine, if the Y chromosome completely disappears and there's a dramatic drop in the male population, what would happen? The first impact would hit the workforce. Sectors that rely on physical labor and high-risk jobs would face a severe shortage of workers. This would slow down production. Industries such as heavy machinery, mining, and construction would experience both a skill gap and a physical labor gap. The direct result? A decline in GDP. The second major impact would be on innovation and research. Data showed that the majority of the world's patents, discoveries, and technological inventions have come from men. If there is decline in the number of men in science and tech sectors, the pace of innovation could slow down significantly. The third major effect would be on leadership. Currently, most top roles in companies, governments, and organizations are held by men. If this ratio suddenly shifts, it would deeply affect decision-making processes, strategic planning, and team dynamics. The real question now is, can women effectively take over all these roles? A report by McKinsey Global Institute suggests that if women are given equal opportunities and their workforce participation matches that of men, global GDP could increase by $28 trillion by 2030. That's a massive number, but achieving it requires equality for women at social, educational, and professional levels. Countries like Sweden, Norway, and Finland have made significant strides in this direction. In these nations, female workforce participation has reached nearly 48%, while in countries like India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, the figure still hovers around 24%. In India, the male workforce participation rate is approximately 77%, while for women it's just 25%. This gap clearly shows that if a situation arises where the Y chromosome disappears, countries like India will have to undergo massive social and economic transformations. There's another major issue here: reproduction. That is, how will new generations be born without men? Scientists are working on artificial reproduction technologies such as IVF, cloning, and stem cell-based gene editing. However, these technologies still have limited accessibility and success rates. And more importantly, they raise serious ethical and social questions. Are we ready for a world where human reproduction is dependent on a lab? And if so, who will control its cost, accessibility, and regulation? Then comes the question of economic structure. The current design of society places men not just in the workforce but also in critical roles like policy making, financial investment, logistics, physical infrastructure, and technological leadership. If the Y chromosome disappears, the entire structure will need to be redesigned. We will have to plan a new kind of economy where a skill-based workforce, automation, AI, and robotics take center stage. Perhaps this is why governments around the world are now working rapidly on gender equity. Women are now emerging as space mission leaders, fighter pilots, tech CEO, and research scholars. But to bring this transformation on a large scale, it will still take several decades. Meanwhile, the threat to the Y chromosome is a matter of millions of years. So yes, we have time, but our preparation must be just as deep. The most astonishing aspect of this entire debate is that this change is occurring at the most fundamental level of nature, at the level of DNA. And when change happens at the core foundation of life, its impact spreads across every social, economic, and political structure. This is why scientists are not viewing this study merely as a genetic trend but as a factor that could redefine the structure of the human future. We must understand that if the Y chromosome eventually disappears, it will not just be a biological crisis, it will be social, economic, and cultural revolution. And we must start preparing for it now by changing education systems, redefining gender roles, restructuring economic design, and investing in technology. Otherwise, by the time the Y chromosome reaches its end, we might not be ready for it, and the global economy may face a challenge with no simple solution.
Has taught you something new. Do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources: news from various news agencies, opinion polls, and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.